Hello. Today I want to have a very honest discussion about punishment and how it applies to dog training. There is a lot of hesitation to talk about this topic, and there are various reasons for that, but I just wanted to make a very open-hearted video about my views on punishment. First and foremost, you can hear especially on Facebook that punishment doesn't work and all that. Punishment works. We have to accept that first, and only then we can have an honest discussion about the subject. So if you look at the four ways in which you can influence an organism's behavior, there is positive reinforcement. You give a little bit of a treat to a dog when the dog does something, or a toy, so that is positive reinforcement. Then there is negative reinforcement. The dog does something wrong and you take away something that the dog is enjoying now. So that is negative reinforcement. You have removed something. There is positive punishment. Positive punishment is the dog does something wrong and then you hit the dog. You have added pain to the dog. So that is positive punishment. And then there is negative punishment, which is quite bizarre, but people use it. For example, there are dogs that are taught how to retrieve. It's called a force retrieve, where the dog is constantly subjected to discomfort until the dog does the desirable behavior of picking up the dumbbell or picking up the dummy. So, or you can even think of putting a prong collar on the dog and constantly pulling its neck upwards, and the only way in which the dog can relieve that pain is by sitting down. That can be thought of as negative punishment. So all these four things work. If they did not work, they will not be on the quadrant. So we have to accept that, and I'll not buy, I know it's up to you, but I will never buy the line that punishment doesn't work. But punishment has a lot of side effects, and any good trainer should come to terms with this, the fact that how punishment changes the behavior of the dog, and how punishment changes the behavior of the trainer, the punisher. If you really think about it, punishment or violence is a very lazy response to a problem. Let's say that I try to turn on my TV and the TV doesn't work. I hit the remote once or twice in my hand. That does not require a genius, right? But it requires a genius to kind of go into the circuitry of the remote control and try and find out what's wrong and fix it. But what is even worse is, imagine that I bang the remote on my lap a couple of times and all of a sudden the TV turns itself on. Now that is highly reinforcing to the trainer. So the next time the TV doesn't work, I'm going to bang it even harder. So this each trainer has to come to terms with. So what happens is, violence on the other is highly reinforcing for the perpetrator of the violence. This is a scientific fact. I'm not just talking through my ass. So we have to come to terms with this fact and what it does to the dog. Violence on the dog makes the dog very passive. So it makes the dog very afraid of being creative. And if you are a clicker trainer, this is a very, very difficult dog to work with. One of the main reasons why we use clicker training is so that the trainer can be lazy and we can let the dog do most of the work. You can just sit in the chair and click. If you start punishing your dog during training, what happens is the dog becomes very passive and essentially it is not fit for clicker training. So these are a couple of things that I'm going to discuss in the forthcoming videos. So let's cover the topics one by one.